On the morning of September 19, 1972, a state trooper named Ed Canfield was flagged down on Highway 27 in Cade County, Arkansas, by a milk hauler who had spotted a broken guardrail. Down the bank, nose first in the shallows of Coker Creek, sat a yellow school bus, its emergency door swinging, its engine still warm. It was Bus 19 of the Danville Consolidated District, the number painted on its sides and stamped on the plate by the door. Canfield climbed down expecting the worst morning of his life and found the bus completely empty, no driver, no children, no blood, and no footprints anywhere on the soft creek mud around it. He radioed it in at 7:40 and stayed with the wreck, as procedure required. At 8:05, 12 miles away, Bus 19 of the Danville Consolidated District pulled into the school lot and dropped off all 26 children on its route, on time, with its regular driver at the wheel. Stay with me, because Arkansas had two identical buses that morning, and the impossible part is what the manufacturer said about that. The dispatcher's log pins the timeline beyond any argument. Canfield called in the wreck, with the bus number, at 7:40, and read the vehicle identification number off the frame plate to dispatch at 7:52, and he was standing on the wreck, physically touching it, when the school's principal telephoned the sheriff at 8:15 to ask why a deputy had just come skidding into his lot to inspect a bus that had arrived without incident. The driver, a 50-year-old woman named Opal Densmore who had driven that route for 9 years, was interviewed within the hour. Her morning had been ordinary to the point of boredom. Every child was accounted for, and every child, questioned gently in the following days, remembered an ordinary ride. 26 children, one driver, one bus, and that same bus, at that same hour, was lying in Coker Creek with a state trooper standing on its hood. The bus in the creek was not similar to Bus 19. It was Bus 19. The sheriff and the district's head mechanic went over it beside the trooper that afternoon. Same district lettering, weathered identically. Same VIN, stamped on the frame and the dash plate, matching the parked bus digit for digit. The mechanic, a man named Purvis who maintained the fleet himself, found his own repairs on the wreck, a welded seat frame at row 4 he had fixed that spring, a radiator hose clamped with the slightly wrong clamp he knew he had used, the initials of a Danville 7th grader scratched into the paint by the emergency door, matching scratch for scratch the initials on the bus parked at the school. Two objects cannot share a serial number, so the sheriff wired Blue Bird, the manufacturer, and asked how many bodies had ever carried that number. The company checked and answered by letter, and the letter is in the file. 1. Here is what they could not explain, and it was mechanical, small, and worse than everything else. Purvis, being a fleet man, read both odometers that day and wrote them down. The bus at the school showed the mileage he expected, his own maintenance log confirming it to within a few miles. The wreck in the creek showed exactly 14 miles more. 14 miles is the length of the morning route from the first stop to the schoolhouse door. The bus in the creek had already driven that morning's route. It carried the miles of a trip that the children were, at that very moment, alive and laughing at recess because they had apparently taken on the other bus. One route had gone out that morning, and somehow it had been completed twice, and one of the two completions had ended nose down in Coker Creek with its emergency door swinging. The wreck was hauled up the bank that evening and left on the shoulder for the salvage truck, which was booked for the next morning. Canfield's relief, a deputy, sat watch on it through the night from his car, because the sheriff, without saying why, did not want it unattended. The deputy swore he never slept. At dawn the guardrail was still broken, the gouges still ran down the bank, the mud still held the flat print of 40 tons having been dragged up it, and the shoulder was empty. The bus was gone. No engine had been heard, no truck had passed, and a vehicle with a seized front axle had left no marks of departing. The salvage crew arrived at 8 to collect a wreck that no longer existed anywhere. The district quietly renumbered its fleet the following year, and Bus 19 became Bus 30, and Opal Densmore drove it until she retired in 1980, steady as ever, though Purvis noticed a thing he mentioned only decades later, that on the morning of September 20th, before the bus had gone anywhere at all, he had found the pedals of the parked Bus 19 rimmed with dried creek mud, and a water line of silt, Faint as a shadow, across the inside of the windshield, at exactly the height Coker Creek had been. Running. The file is 4 folders thick and officially concerns the theft of a wrecked vehicle from a county shoulder. It names no suspects. And the last item in it is a photograph Trooper Canfield took at 7:41 that first morning, before anything was understood, the bus in the water, doors swinging, seats empty. If you look at the photograph the way Canfield eventually did, with a magnifier, at row after row of empty green seats, you can see what he saw, the reason he never worked another school route as long as he wore the uniform. The seats are empty. But on every one of them, pressed deep into the morning dew that coated the vinyl, there is the dry, clear outline of a small person, 26 of them, sitting exactly where 26 children always sat.